This is National 9 News with Peter Hitchener.
Good evening. Victoria Police say they've cracked a major stolen car racket, which has transported $1.5 million worth of cars interstate in the last 2 years. But as Kate Dunstan reports, that's just a small part of a large problem.
Detectives in 3 states have been working to break this particular racket for 18 months. It started with 89 luxury cars stolen in Victoria, mostly from car yards. They were taken to Adelaide, their identification numbers changed, re-registered and then sold to unsuspecting dealers. It was when those cars started to be recognised as stolen that the operation switched to Queensland. 8 men in 3 states have now been charged over the racket and more charges are expected. But it doesn't mean an end to the problem. According to police, this is just one of many gangs operating. They say it's an illegal industry worth $20 million a year, made possible by lax regulations interstate.
Well, in Queensland, the vehicles don't get inspected. They can make very rough minor alterations to the car identification and it will be registered up there and accepted.
The people who are suffering most from this operation are the innocent Queensland car dealers who must reimburse their customers. In a way, though, we all suffer because it's this sort of crime which is forcing our comprehensive insurance rates through the roof. Kate Dunstan, National 9 News.
European scientists are celebrating the successful rendezvous of the space probe Giotto with Halley's Comet. The spacecraft was temporarily knocked off course when hit by dust particles, but survived to send back the best pictures yet of the comet, as Bob Delaland reports.
After years of planning and the combined efforts of 11 European countries, Giotto began the final stages of its rendezvous with Halley's Comet shortly after 7 o'clock this morning. Travelling at 68 kilometres a second, it began taking its first pictures from a distance of just over 4 million kilometres. Using computers, the images show the different densities of gaseous layers surrounding the nucleus. Giotto took actual photos, which will take several days to develop, but it's believed from this morning's information that the core is a potato-shaped object measuring 11 kilometres by 7. Although able to track the space probe's exact movements, scientists at Mission Control in West Germany were forever fearful of Halley's all-obscuring cloud of dust, the same problem encountered by the Soviet Union's Vega probes in the past week. Even though all contact with Giotto was temporarily lost seconds before the historic flyby just after 11 o'clock, it did manage to capture the first ever close-up images of the comet's nucleus from a distance of 500 kilometres.
Also today, rare pictures of a Soviet space launch, the first manned mission since the Challenger disaster. The Soviets weren't saying why this mission was so open, but all across the Soviet Union, viewers saw every second of the event, including pre-launch activities. The cosmonauts are the same 2 who hold the space endurance record. All going well, they're expected to dock at an orbiting space station in 2 days. It was back to the most basic form of flight today for Queensland Premier Sir Joh Bjelke-Petersen. He took time off from the hot air of the political arena for a balloon flight across Brisbane.
It was a long-time dream realised for the Premier, who wasn't about to sit back and let things happen without him.
You just give it a squirt like that. That's a 1-second burn.
The business of government was left way below on the ground.
It's very peaceful, couldn't be more peaceful, very different to in Parliament House.
And if Sir Joh was nervous at all about being a high flyer, he wasn't letting on.
Can we come in for breakfast?
After a peaceful hour and 20 minutes over the city, it was time to come down to earth. And it was an exhilarated Sir Joh who prepared to get back into everyday life. Robin Parker, National 9 News.
Some Melbourne motorists are already beginning to reap the benefit of the state government's cut in the price of petrol. The 5.7 cents a litre drop officially starts on Tuesday, but some outlets have already begun selling at the new price of between 52 and 53 cents a litre. From Perth, a bizarre sequel to a goods train derailment on the Nullabor plain last week. Railway workers unloading some of the train's damaged cargo this morning made a grisly discovery: the remains of a man crushed between 2 huge containers. This report from our Perth newsroom.
The derailment 10 days ago damaged 21 carriages, caused thousands of dollars damage and blocked the east-west rail link for about 24 hours. What West Rail workmen didn't know was a young American holidaying in Australia had apparently climbed aboard the train for a free ride to Perth. He'd hidden between 2 huge containers. In the derailment, the containers were thrown together, crushing the man. The gruesome discovery came at about 7:30 this morning as the containers were being unloaded. Because the body had partly decomposed, it left a chilling silhouette, outlining the dead man's features, both front and back. Police investigating the case say there are no suspicious circumstances. The dead man was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time.
And now taking a look at our weather for the weekend, and we can expect mainly fine conditions with only 1 or 2 showers. The outlook for Sunday is early drizzle, then fine, and don't forget to turn your clocks back as daylight saving ends on Sunday morning. Expected top for tomorrow is 23 after an overnight low of 15. At present, it's a very pleasant 19 degrees in the city. That's all from the news desk. Till I see you again, it's good night.